Sunday morning, rain is falling.
I just woke up. It's like a little after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been sick, man. It's a bummer. I had some kind of stomach thing for a couple of weeks, and then as soon as that went away, I caught this cold that's been going around. It's not really a cold. I mean, I guess it's a cold. I'm not sniffing or coughing. It's just my throat hurts, my head's killing me, got right into my ear. I feel awful. And yes, I'm a big pussy. But the weather's been really bad here, which is really rare. And we're a couple hours away from a really super low tide. So despite how awful I feel, we're going to head to the beach. I got a little bit of a different setup today on my Garrett AT Pro. We'll talk about how I'm going to be running it today in the wet sand, see if we get better results. And that's it. I feel awful, but the metal detecting conditions should be great. It'll balance out. I have the 5x8 coil. I don't usually use it at the beach because I like to cover more area, but I'm going to go ahead and give the 5x8 coil a try. And also, the suggestion was to hunt in Pro Zero mode with iron discrimination all the way up to 40 and sensitivity all the way up. So that was the suggestion, is Pro Zero mode, full sensitivity, full discrimination, and then he said dig everything above 40. So we're going to give that a try. That was the maybe spammers tips for using the Garrett AT Pro in wet sand. As you probably know by now, a lot of people have said they don't get really great results in wet sand with it. I have gotten targets with it before. It's not like it doesn't work. It's just it kills on the dry sand and it's okay on the wet sand. But we're going to try this setup and see what happens. This was the first real target I've had today. You can see I'm right in the wet sand. I got a nice clear tone, and I'm not sure what this is. I'll have to clean it up and look at it closer. It's light. It feels like a gaming token of some sort. I just dug this hole a couple of feet away from the shoreline and got me a little Hot Wheels car or some kind of little car. So again, to reiterate, I'm finding that this doing Pro Zero mode, Pro mode, everything in zero, sensitivity all the way up, iron discrimination all the way up. I'm getting a lot of chatter in the wet sand, but I'm finding targets, and that's way better than last time. All right, a little update. So far, the best thing I found were these three super cool dudes from Dallas that gave me a big fat blunt. They were smoking, and I was like, hey, can I get a hit? And they were like, hey, we got something better. They gave me a hit, and they said, we got to get on a plane, and so you could have this. And they gave me this big fat blunt. The thing is, they could have taken it on the plane with them. And I was going to tell them that. I was going to be like, hey, man, you could take this back. No one cares. As a matter of fact, if you don't know this, you look at the, what are they, the FAA people? Yeah, the FAA people. If you look at their website, they have a thing where they're like, we don't care about small amounts of weed anymore. Anyway, the reason I didn't tell him, though, was because he took his big-ass container. He took this big-ass weed container and threw it in the ocean. I mean, you're gonna come here and litter the beach. These guys were super cool, but if you're gonna come and litter, I'm gonna take that blunt you offered me. They gave me a lighter too. So yeah, so far today I'm up Chuck E. Cheese token, some other kind of token, a little metal race car, and a big fat blunt. Let's keep hunting. To have a good cut requires a big fat high tide, heavy winds, big waves and swells. So even though the tide is extremely low, the sand is packed in tight, and I'm finding spots with a lot of trapped like shells and that sort of stuff. Those conditions seem pretty good, but there's really not a good cut to speak of. I don't know if you can see that, but it's still covered in a lot of sand. The hunt continues. Man, look at the size of that. Look at the size of this footprints, man. Was Shaq at the beach? Look at those things. Imagine the cock on this guy. Something I figured out is to make this a lot less chattery is to hunt with the iron audio mode off. And then when you get to a target, turn iron audio on and then check it out that way. You know, like I mentioned, when you're in the wet sand with the Garrett, you're going to get a lot of chatter. Well, if you have it set up the way I do right now. You can see I'm ground balancing again. I've noticed that the numbers change quite significantly, so it's important to ground balance as you move down the beach, even though I'm still kind of in the same area. I guess the mineralization is different. Anyway, searching with iron audio off has made the machine a lot quieter. And then when I get to a target, turning iron audio on to check it out has been great. This is kind of cool. Look at this. We got kind of a bowl here, like kind of a little whirlpool happening. And then you can see it's almost like a little cutout here. You can see like I guess it's a sandbar technically. When I think of a sandbar, I think of something that is much bigger, that goes farther out. But this is like a little mini sandbar, creating an interesting pool of water here. Surfers, good waves. I'm gonna see if I can get into this little flat area here. Or this little, actually, I'm gonna start right here in this little whirlpool section and see if maybe anything's got caught in there. Now, this is interesting. Right next to the little whirlpool, if you look over here, there's these little cuts all along here, little pockets. I'm going to explore these very carefully. Here's a close-up of those little channels I was talking about. Over here, they're more like pockets. But yeah, they're like, it almost looks like a natural sluice box, right? It's like, hopefully there's some natural riffles catching some unnaturally large jewelry. All right, I've never had such a hard time figuring out where to dig because I've just got so much ringing. Huh. Oh, I think this is some kind of wire. What do we have? Well, that would explain it. That thing was going off left and right. I don't know what the hell it is. Maybe from a drill or something. I'm almost at the Santa Monica Pier, and the tide's coming in. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to head up now to the towel line, the blanket line, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to work the dry sand heading back home. I'm sure I'll hit a lot more targets, probably a lot more clad. Ran into a couple of other metal detectorists. Neither one of them came up with anything either. One of them was wading into the water, so he was all on his own there and he wasn't finding anything. And the other dude I ran into on the beach said he had worked the other side of the pier. We kind of came from opposite directions and met in the middle, and he didn't come up with anything. We all had basically a lot of junk. So I guess that makes me feel good. I'm not doing any worse than anybody else, I don't think. Got this blunt. My arm's getting a little tired, so we're gonna take a little ganja break, hit the dry sand, and see what happens. something gross about Santa Monica is that we have these storm drains here. And so after it rains, all the water from the gutters goes into what you're seeing here and streams out all of this waste and horrible crap right into our beautiful ocean. It's really, really gross, and it's the reason that you're not supposed to go swimming after it rains here, because of how they dump all the sewage and other junk right into the ocean. Now, these people over here, like, there's somebody over there taking pictures, and other people like sitting right next to this. They probably think it's a cute river. They honestly don't know that they're hanging out next to sewage. All right, the sun has set. It's getting dark, it's getting cold. I'm sick, man. I feel horrible, but I still had a great day. Could have stayed in bed, but I'm glad I came out. I collected nothing but junk. But it was gorgeous out here, and that's always a good time. You know, one of the reasons I think I like metal detecting is because I think everything I like is pretty much the same. It's all like fishing. You know, I love to play No Limit Texas Hold'em, and most of the time you're just folding your hands, waiting for something decent to play. Metal detecting, most of the time you're digging junk. And I don't know, it's just everything I do in life is kind of like fishing. It's like waiting around, getting some nibbles. Most of the time it's kind of whatever, mediocre. Sometimes it's awful. Every once in a while, it's fucking amazing. So, I'm gonna head back. I always like to, you know, on my walk back, see if I grab anything on the way. And this is no exception. It's funny though, I've only been able to walk like 6 feet. I keep picking up targets. Fortunately, it's all junk. All right, I'm gonna keep trying to head toward home. I got a mango lassie. Here's today's treasure report. We got a little car here, a letter T, if anybody needs that. This here, turned out to be a token that was an advertisement for an app. Basically, if you look at it real close, it's like, hey, go to the App Store and download our app. So that's what that was. That's a commercial. And this is a Chuck E. Cheese token, a couple pennies, a couple dimes. And there you have it. Hey, man, I still had a great time hunting the beach. Look, man, you're at the beach. How bad can it be? Hopefully next time we'll come up with something really cool to show you.